guys, welcome back to the cookie jar. Today we're doing the third recipe from the Fudge Murder. They are called the Cashew Crisps. These two pages right here. So for this one, we are preheating the oven to 350. I don't think there's anything major in the recipe. It's a straightforward, mix everything in, roll it out, pop it in the oven, bake it off. So for these cookies, you're going to need 1.5 cups of melted butter, that's 3 sticks, 2 cups white sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/8 cup of molasses, 2 tablespoons, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups finely ground salted cashews. Grind them up in your food processor with a steel blade. Measure after grinding. 2 beaten eggs, just whip them up with a fork. And 3 cups of flour, no need to sift. And once again, they say melted butter, ground cashews, but they also say in the ingredients to melt the butter and grind the ingredients. The recipe in the steps to melt and grind. I've already done it, of course. Yeah, so with that, let's get in the kitchen and get started. So here are all the ingredients that we are going to use today. Okay, so we have our melted butter in the bowl. To this, we are adding the 2 cups of white sugar. We're going to add the 2 teaspoons of vanilla, as well as the 2 tablespoons of molasses. Okay, here we go. And to this, we're adding the 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, the teaspoon of baking powder, and the 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So the next thing we're adding is the 1.5 cups of finely ground cashews. Next is our 2 eggs. Lastly, our 3 cups of flour. Alright, it's going to take a second to try to knock all this stuff down off the top. Now we're just going to clean off the beaters. So it does say to let this firm up for a few minutes. So I think I'm going to let it sit, set a timer for about 5 minutes and just kind of go from there and see what we end up with. This is the dough right now. It's very wiggly. So see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and we're back. We have our cookie sheets greased with the mats. So we're just going to scoop it up. It does say to roll it. So let's see what we can do about that. I mean, it has a better likelihood than that of the cherry wings from last week, but they're very squishy. They're not sticky, they're squishy. So I don't foresee them holding a shape. They'll make a shape. I just don't think they'll stay that way. You have to be very light to get it to roll. I think these cookies are going to be slightly like peanut butter cookies. That is what I think these are going to end up being like. The texture and the smell, they're leaning me towards a nut, like a peanut buttery type cookie. And there we are. There is the first set tray. Just say to push them down a little bit so they don't roll. But I don't really feel that's going to be a problem. So I'm just going to finish rolling these up and we'll see how many we get. All right, we are done. We have a total of 6 and a couple extra batches. That's 77 cookies in total. These are going to go in at 350 for 10 minutes, cool for 2, and then hit a wire rack. And here are all of the cookies finally baked. So here's the front and back of the cashew crisp. This is really good. It's sweet and it's nutty. It's not exactly a peanut butter cookie because it has the cashew flavor, which is a nice, mellow, nutty vibe. I like this a lot. These are going to get eaten. They're going to get eaten quickly. It's quick, fast, easy, delicious cookie. This is, I wouldn't say it's my favorite because we've had some that are just like, oh my gosh. But for how easy and simple it was, this is high priority. One of the tidbits on the bottom of the recipe that I forgot to read earlier was it did say that I was going to make about 10 dozen depending on the cookie size. I think we got about 6 and some change. So, and it says, Mother thinks I should put a small nugget of milk chocolate in the center of the balls, but she always thinks I should add chocolate to my recipes. Now, I don't think it needs it. I think these are perfect the way they are. So I don't think adding chocolate would have helped or made it any better at all. Next week, we are doing Hannah's Bananas. I don't think I've ever had a banana cookie before. I'm not the biggest fan of bananas. Like, I'll eat banana bread and banana pudding, but like about the extent of me and bananas. Yes, that's up in the air. Whether they'll be good or not, I don't know. But we'll try them. We'll make them. We'll see what we come up with. If you're interested in seeing those, join us next week. Have a good one. Bye, guys.